So far, screws today don't work. They're supposed to be self-tapping screws. My ass. Self-tapping screws my ass. Fuck's sake, dude. How the fuck am I supposed to get this thing? Where are my drill bits? Where'd they go? They just fucking vanished? Disappeared? How? Fucker. Bro, this is the biggest horse shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Fuck him. It's not her fault. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Now the screws are too skinny. Thank you. Just needed some bigger screws. I gotta clean all this up. That one, I gotta do one more. Almost impossible. Clean this up. Well, this shit ain't coming off of me for a week. Fucking hate them at my job. I fucking hate them here. They don't go on your fucking hand. Fucking fingertip of my glove got stuck in the drill and it started trying to fucking drill my glove into it. Fuck's sake, man. These fuckers won't go all the way on. These are the worst fucking gloves ever. Whatever. Careful, because I don't want this to fucking ring here to the fucking thing. I'll never get it off. Come on, man. Jesus Christ. Let's fucking stay. There we go. It's gonna take about a day, probably, cure without moving my van anywhere. And I guess when it's dry, I can scrape a little bit more off the top. Anybody ever read that Dr. Seuss book where Dr. Seuss comes over to the house, or the Cat in the Hat, I think is the name of it, and they get the fucking sludge on everything, and then you touch something else, and then the sludge goes to that, and then the whole house is covered in sludge? That's what this fucking shit does. Alright, now I gotta test it out and see if it works. So, right now, I got everything in the van unplugged. Here's the extension cable that I would run at a campsite or to plug in at my job during the day so I can leave the air conditioning running for Valentina while I work. Unlimited power. This would just plug into here like this. And then you can see everything is off in here right now. Fan's off, or it's slowing down. So then this down here, all right, try and move all these fucking trash bags out of the way. Shit's so annoying. All right, so right here is the female cable. This, oh, fucking cunt. Give me a second. Fucking all shit in the way. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, nice. I got marine sealant on my fucking computer. That's great. Alright, so then this is the power strip I have everything plugged into. I should have probably tested to see if this even worked before I put it in, but whatever. Oh, look at that. We got power. And this is so I don't have to, like, run a wire extension cable through my back door like I have been. I can just plug it in to the side of my van to charge my batteries, or if I just want to run straight power from the campsite and bypass my internal batteries so I'm not using them or putting stress on them. Because typically 9 times out of 10, if you go to a place and your batteries are already charged, you're obviously not going to charge your batteries. So you're going to hook into this and power everything in the van without going through your batteries. So it's going to do multiple things. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually going to use this while I'm working on my van. Keep the fan running for me. But, yep, it works. Because the power system's going right here, so that will hook right into it. You can see on the inside where I went over it with marine sealant on the inside. So basically what I just did, I have to do over here. It's going to be right about here-ish. There's going to be a slot for the exhaust for my air conditioning unit. And unfortunately, I do not have a saw here in the kit. This is the biggest one I got, which is a diameter of, I believe, let me see. Can't even fucking read it. These things are so worn. Pretty sure this is about 3 inches. And I need a 5-inch one. So I'm putting a 5-inch hole right there for the AC duct to come out. And then I'm installing on top of it, it slides in, is the exhaust vent for the, when the hot air comes out, the vent flaps open and the air comes out, and then there's a protector that goes over the top to keep rain from coming into it. And there's also a bug screen on the inside that prevents any kind of bugs or anything from getting through it. Typically, bugs aren't going to go in it anyways if there's hot air coming out of it. And that thing's pretty strong. Like, it shoots a lot of air through it. So that's going to go there. I'm waiting for that to come from Amazon. I ordered a metal cutter like this that's 5 inches specifically for cutting into metal. So whenever I get that, that in. I'm also waiting on the what do you call it? The exhaust vent itself. That's why I haven't put that in yet. So, fuck, how do you get this off? Now I can't get this bitch off. It also comes with one of these. Comes with the whole thing, so. But after I put that in, I only have that to do, and then I have one more hole on the roof I got to put in for the wires of the solar panels. Actually, I take that back. I got 3 more holes I got to do. The exhaust hole, the solar panel wiring hole, which will go in the back corner of the van here, straight down where all this is. And then up front, whenever I get Starlink, I got to run a wire from my satellite dish on the roof down to my Wi-Fi router, which I'm going to have mounted in the front of my van. So the reason I'm mounting my Starlink in the front of the van is because, when I'm traveling and driving, I'll be able to just take the cigarette lighter and plug it into my van power while I'm moving down the road, so I don't have to use my batteries. And then when I'm at a campsite, I can just move the router to my desk and plug it into my battery system. So 3 more holes got to go into the van: exhaust, solar, and Starlink. But they're not, other than the 5-inch gash, the other 2 are only going to be about a half of an inch in diameter. Actually, the Starlink, depending on how thick the wire is, it will probably just be a very thin hole. But that's almost it for external installations. We'll see how this seals. I may or may not do a second coat on it. Van already looks like shit. I mean, the paint already sucks on this van everywhere. I mean, look at the back door. So I'm not really worried about any of this, honestly. Like, I'd rather, if it looks ugly and it works, that's all I care about. No more leaks. So this completely seals it and also helps hold this into place. That's all I care about. And the good thing is that it is white. So at least it's not like some weird color or black. But in order to make sure it don't leak, it's going to look ugly around the edges. But I'd rather it look ugly than leak. That's just me. How the fuck do I get got a perfectly round hole from my van wall. Honestly, I should like throw a string through the hole and hang this in my front window as a souvenir. I don't have a rear view mirror yet to put it on, but I'll set it up here soon. So that's pretty cool. Unplug it. And everything in here turns off. Plug it back in. Well, if I'm not, and this protects the port. Push that in there. Ugh. Okay. Plug in there. Everything turned back on again. Nice. So it does work. I was kind of worried it wasn't going to work because it's from Amazon. You never know what you're going to get with fucking Amazon. But it beats having one of these RV-sized power ports to where you have to convert it to an extension cable. I just bought one that is an extension cable because it's a van. So anyways, that's all done now. Procrastinated weeks for that. I'll tell you guys what happened. I was in the garage searching for something else to use for the cabinets, and I stumbled across this box in one of the drawers. I always find shit in there I end up needing. I ended up stumbling across this kit right here. It looks like he got it for $20, which is a pretty good deal considering I just paid $14 for one blade. But yeah, this was pretty cool to come across because when I seen that, I was like, oh, nice. I don't have to borrow that from Gerald. I could just do it myself and install my AC port. Anyways, cabinets are still drying. I'm not fucking with the cabinets anymore until tomorrow because I need that to just dry. And once that's secure, I think I'm going to end up having to move this right here, this support beam. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew it. I know you all see me this morning. Like, I ripped up the trim that I had previously because it was too thick. And I ended up putting in a 2x2. Or I'm sorry, a 1x1. And this right here, I'm going to move to the other side. And it won't do anything when I take it off, because if you look up in the top, there's another support beam holding everything in place. So I'm going to move this to the other side because the toilet needs to have nothing obstructing it. And this, I think, would end up obstructing it. Because the toilet's going to be pretty tall. It's going to be up to about right here. I'm pretty much cutting it close. But I want it to be a tight fit because I don't want it to be able to slide or move around. And once I get the toilet in there, I might add a couple tracks or whatever that come out, keep the toilet from, because I know people are like, oh, well, how are you going to mount the toilet to this? You can't really mount the toilet to this because you don't want to put holes in it. But you can secure the toilet to this by just adding tracks to keep it from being able to move. And the front cabinet would block it from rolling out. But these hinges are actually catch hinges I bought, paid the extra money for them, and they lock into place. So those two white things in the back, it ends up locking the track so it can't freely slide out. You have to kind of pull it with some force. And I'm going to be putting a little handle in the front to where this, you just pull the handle and it comes out. So that's going to be nice when that's done, but I got to move this. I'm just going to wait till this is dry. It looks like it's starting to dry a little bit, but on the inside it still might be damp. And I think I'm going to have to move this up slightly. I didn't even notice this, but there's a big gap right here. So I'm going to end up slightly either lifting this, or I might just get like a trim piece and secure it there, because I was planning on doing a thin trim underneath the lip here all the way down. And maybe if I do one around the sides, then I won't have to move this. But I didn't even notice it earlier. It's so fucking hot in here. But it feels like it's starting to cure, so I don't want to mess with it. But anyways, that's pretty much it for right now. I'm going to be doing some more workout here tonight once the sun goes down. I got to design my base wood for the desk to come out, which I'm doing tonight and tomorrow. I'll be working on both, tonight and tomorrow. The only problem is I ended up using this 1x1 down here. I ended up using that, which I need another one of those for the desk because I need very thin wood because there's not a lot of space to do thick wood. And unfortunately, this is all I got left, a half of a piece. So I'm going to have to go to Home Depot tomorrow because all I got left is three 2x4s, and to build the desk, I need at least 2 more 2x3s, and I need at least, I'd say, 1 more 1x1, because the 2x4s, I'm probably only going to end up using one of these for the desk, just for the base on the floor that's anchored to the floor. But the reason I need 1x1s is because that is what I'm using to attach to the desk and secure it to the air conditioning unit. Essentially, I'm building like a box around where the AC goes, so it sits in there and it doesn't roll around. I don't want to drill into the air conditioning unit with a bracket or anything in case I need to move it, because you do have to lift the AC up to drain it every now and then out the back. So I'm going to have to disconnect it from the exhaust going into the wall, and I'm going to have to be able to just lift it straight up out of its encasement and hold it out the side door to let it strain the water out. I know I could just drill a hole through the bottom of the van and have the water go down that way, but with all the holes I've already put in here, I really don't want to do any more holes. Plus, it's not really that big of a deal to pick up the air conditioning unit and move it 2 feet to the door and just let it drain out the door, because it's a very small amount of water. It's like literally less than a quart that comes out of there when it's full. The only other exhaust and intake holes I'm going to have to end up drilling is when I get my diesel heater. I'm planning on doing an intake hole for the diesel heater behind the driver's seat, away from my van exhaust, like on the opposite side. I'm doing a hose that's going to run under the cabinets along the plumbing. And the diesel heater is going to actually be kind of by the water tank in the back, so that way it's easy to fill up the diesel tank. And then the exhaust for it is going to come out over here, and it's going to actually go out the bottom near the exhaust of my van. So there's going to be a little copper pipe that comes out from like right here next to the exhaust, and that will be for the diesel heater. And I'll be able to have heat in here in the wintertime. And the diesel heater is great because it uses very minimal power from the van power system just to get it started, basically. And then that diesel just keeps it going. They're very efficient. So that's what the only holes I'm drilling in the floor is an intake line for the diesel and then a export line for the exhaust. Other than that, I don't want to do any more holes if I don't have to. The plumbing for the sink is just going to go from the sink into a 5-gallon jug of gray water. So it'll just drain in there. I don't need a grease trap or anything because I'm going to just empty the tanks within a couple of days. So it's not enough time for the gases to build up and come up because I'll just empty them as they go. And in the sink, I'm going to have a food trap, so no food or anything goes into the containers, and I'm using environmental friendly detergent so I can dump it anywhere. I did fuck my floor up today. This ended up coming up, the vinyl, the only piece that ended up coming up, and it happened, I think, when I took the anchors out, it ended up moving this, but that's okay. No one's going to see this anyways. I was like, maybe I could fix it. I'm just going to add some liquid nails, I think, in here and just push it down, set something heavy on it overnight. This is the 5-gallon tanks of water are going to actually be sitting right on top of this all the time. So not a big deal. Everything else held up really nice, though, as you can see. I am glad I didn't finish this yet because when I build the desk, I would end up going through it anyways. And it might fuck it up there too. So I think for the desk, just going to go, I'd say to about right here. I'm basically going to build a table that comes out this way to here, right? Or I'm sorry, to about right here and stops. I'm going to use that countertop I have in the garage that I originally bought for that. And then on the door, I'm going to rip off this plastic. I'm going to repaint this entire door again. And then I'm going to build a wood panel. And I'm ordering on Amazon. There's these shelf hinges that fold up and fold down and they lock. And I'm building a desk table that will flip up like this. So when this door's shut like this, I could either sit at a half of the desk, or then I can fold this up to the same level as the desk and have a full desk. Or if I'm out camping somewhere and I want to cook outside, I can open this and then I can fold my desk up out here and have a whole table in between my doors. And then I could pull my refrigerator to here and I can use it to cook. So I thought that would be a good idea for the desk, because then when I'm not using the desk and I want to come in here and move around, I can fold the desk down to the door and have all this extra space. You know, maybe I want to put my dog's water dish and food right here or something. But primarily right here is about how far as to where the thick surface is going to come out. And I'm going to build it over the air conditioning unit, which is going to be right here. So it might be about this tall. So that's the plan. I'm ordering those hinges for the desk this week when I get paid. And I'll post in the community post a picture of them. They're pretty cool. They have different sizes. You could do 12 inches, 14 inches, or 16 inches. I just really got to measure. I don't need it to come out that far. I thought like a 14-inch length would be plenty. Because basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat countertop and stain it the same color as over there. And that's what would be right here for the desk. I was also thinking about doing the same thing for this door, but because I have this is where the handle is, and I gotta fix this so I can open this door from the inside. I'm not gonna put anything on this door, but in the back, I'm thinking about building. So this is where the door is on this side, where there is no handle or anything. I'm thinking about doing another panel with a lift up bench that comes out. Main reason being is if I end up somewhere where I have to like do some repairs inside the camper van, or I have to, fix my van or something, my tool bench is going to slide out here. It would be nice to have a table that folds up and latches to be able to set my tools on and have some way, or I might be at a campsite and I want to set my portable TV out here and have a chair and have a place to set my TV. So I am doing another fold up. I might do the 16-inch one here just because I think having a bigger one would make sense opposed to the middle door where it's smaller for the desk. So I got lots of work I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. Practically almost done with the cabinets. It's just literally a matter of putting the side panel on in between the bed, which is going to be a bitch to screw in, but whatever. Staining the front trim, and then waiting for those cabinet rollers to come in to install the doors, which I already have my wood for my doors. It's right here. I just got to figure out what the size is going to be and cut it. So I'm almost done with that. Tomorrow, well, actually tonight I'm going to be staining, but then tomorrow I got all of these panels in here that are not stained yet. These are the either ceiling or wall panels. It doesn't really matter. Going to be doing those the gun stock again. And basically my plan is tomorrow to continue my paneling up into the ceiling, insulate the ceiling first, and then do my panels, and come about halfway, I'd say, and then also finish a trim around the window right here and insulate that as well under it. Basically what I'm doing with the paneling on the window is I'm just going to be using that marine adhesive to connect it to the wall directly in the back of the panel, and then have it kind of follow the line of the front panelings. And I'm just going to stop with it probably about halfway down the wall here, because you're not going to see it from the front. You'll only see it from the back, and I don't really need to waste paneling all the way down to where it serves no purpose. Same thing on this side. I'm just going to do the wood paneling all the way down the wall. But I'm waiting till I finish my electrical stuff. I'm waiting to get the new one in, the new electronic component, to get that working. And that will go behind the panels. So just some minor cosmetic stuff to the back. I didn't really care about the back area as much. I just mostly cared about getting as much space as I can vertically so I could have length for my bed to lay down in. Yeah, aside from that, yeah. I'm also going to possibly start doing my paneling in that little short section there by where the desk is, because where I already have it insulated. I need to do that wall because I need a place to tack into for portions of the desk skeleton. So I got a lot that I got to do. I've been out here all day. It's been fucking hot all day. And most of the stuff that I've done has been very meticulous and took a long time, fighting with like the world's smallest screws. But I'm going to take a little break here and for like an hour, maybe 2 hours. And then when it starts to get dark out, I'm going to come out and start staining everything that I need to stain for tomorrow. And I may or may not. It just depends. if it's not too late when I get done staining, I might try and cut some of the pieces of paneling that I'm going to be using tomorrow. So we'll see. Oh shit, I don't want to lose this. I got 2 extra screws now, self-tapping. These look about this size. Just throw those in there. Alright. Well, anyways, guys, that about concludes this. How much until everything is done? And well, I'm shooting for 3 weeks. I basically have a lot of different things going on right now, like a lot of different projects in here going on, and I'm like handcuffed right now and getting all of them done until the things that I need for each thing come in the mail. Like, I'm almost done with the solar panel installation, but I'm waiting for this little plastic cap that you plug it into on the roof, and then it covers the hole you drill in the roof. It seals it so water doesn't come in. Because if I were to just drill a hole and run wires, it would be a motherfucker to try and seal it with marine sealant with wires that are going to move around a bunch. So you need something that can cap over it. So I'm waiting on that to come in the mail. It said it should be here on Tuesday. For the cabinets to finish the fronts of those, I'm waiting for the sliders, which is preventing me from being able to do the base trim because I don't know until I get them. I don't know how low it's going to hold the door down, if that makes sense, on the track. Like I don't know like where the highest I can set my track to where it's not going to interfere with the wheels. So I'm waiting until I get that, and then what was the other thing? Oh yeah. And to finish the air conditioning installation, I'm waiting for that exhaust duct to come in so I can install that. There's like 3 components of that I'm waiting on. I got everything ordered. It's just been a matter of Amazon taking 1,000 years to get me everything I need. Nothing I can really do about it. And I'm like limited to how much I can order each week. So, this coming week, I'm going to be ordering more stuff, of course, and it may take 2 days and it may take 3 weeks. Solar panels took almost 2.5 weeks to come in. The exhaust fan took about 2 weeks to come in, and then a couple of smaller things that I got for the van ended up coming in within like a couple of days. So we'll see. But another thing I'm waiting on to come in, I ordered is, shut this door here. The front of the van is just white right now. I found some really cool looking decal stickers for both sides that match. They're just black and gray. It matches like the stencil work I started putting on. And basically, it's just like a design thing that they do on RVs and stuff. It starts at the fenders and then it goes all the way down the side doors to the back fender. I got the really big one, and I have 2 of them coming. So when I get those, I'll be able to install those so my van won't look like a plain white van anymore. And they're pretty cool looking. Basically, I'll just run them around the length and then use an X-Acto knife to cut in between the door jambs and then fold it inward. So that's going to look, it's going to make the van look nicer from the outside. As beat up as it is, at least it'll give it a little bit of, character. And if you missed it last week, we put the window in, which was a really big deal, but it never leaked a single time. It's in there solid. It's not going anywhere. And I actually use this almost every day. I noticed, because this has got a bug screen on it, I could leave the window open. I noticed when I leave this back window open and I'm not in the van, when I go to my van to go somewhere, it is like 10 degrees less hot in the van than it normally is when this is open. It keeps it nice and cool. So that window is like a huge plus, just being able to open a window and leave it open. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was going to get to. So I'm also ordering a rain guard. Usually you put them on your driver windows, but they have just like the straight one. I'm doing a rain guard on the top of this window. So if I wanted to leave the window open while it's raining, or if I'm driving down the road and it starts raining and this is open, it'll keep the rain from coming into my van. So I'm gonna put one around that top of that. And what's the other thing? So not next week, not the following week, but the third week. So 3 weeks from now, which has absolutely nothing to do with me moving into the van or when I'm going to move into the van. Also ordering a ladder. It's just a black ladder. You usually see them on like off-terrain vehicles and stuff like that. But basically it mounts to the roof and then it comes down and then it bolts in at the bottom of the van. You don't have to drill into the van for it. And I'm doing a little black ladder right here. So I'll be able to climb up on my roof if I ever need to get to my solar panels. If I have like an electrical issue and I'm on the road somewhere, or I need to get to my Starlink dish and maintain it. I'm doing a little small ladder, not a big ladder, because I don't want to transport a giant ladder on the roof. They just have these little compact ones that will get you up there, kind of like this one on the RV. Show you guys. Except mine's going to be black and it's going to match the windows and other things like that. But it's a very small ladder like this in the back of the RV. It's just going to go straight up to the roof on the side of the van. So that would be nice to have. Yeah, so anyways, that's pretty much the stream. I thought this was going to be a lot bigger of a deal than it was. At the end of the day, I ended up fighting with fucking screws again. I think that's like my biggest issue is screws. I don't know why. They don't want to go in holes for me. Probably my lack of knowledge of operating power tools or something. I don't know. But got it in. It works. Let that truck go by. It works, and I'm able to leave things plugged in here now when it is raining out, which is super helpful. And throughout the rest of my building over the next few weeks, this plug is going to come in very handy, make things a lot easier. So I don't have to leave my back doors open anymore. All right, guys. I appreciate you all being here. Thanks for supporting. Go check out the new video I posted earlier today if you haven't seen it yet. It should be under my videos tab. Don't forget to like the stream. I did notice the channel has been growing a lot more since I've been using hashtags over the last week. I think there's like 30 new people here, which is awesome. So I appreciate you guys. And for all my baseball fans out there, I'll be doing a baseball stream here for like an hour and a half, however long it takes. And then I guess I'm probably out of notifications. Be on the lookout for another van build stream tonight, which will just be a staining stream. Stuff I could do quietly at night. I got a lot of things I got to stain tonight. So I'm doing gun stock. So gun stock, I could do a lot of things. So. All right, guys. See you on the next one. Peace.